So first of all, what is pain? Right. Pain, if you want a technical definition, is an unpleasant sensory as well as emotional experience, which is associated, but not always, with actual tissue damage or perceived damage. Okay. And so this is a very dry textbook explanation of what pain is. But it's probably better to understand it by using some diagrams and some schemes. So pain works essentially like this. So the pathophysiology, how pain works. It starts like this. So you have pain in an area, let's say your lower back pain, like this figure here. And what happens in this situation, you get a signal that goes from the lower back through your spinal cord and into your brain. And it's a pain signal that it sends. So the pain and the pain center in the brain interprets as a pain. But things don't just finish there. Pain causes a reaction, and like everything, action causes a reaction. And the pain responds to the pain by sending another signal back to the lower back where you have the pain. And you get what we call peripheral responses. So the nervous system orchestrates some responses in the area, which we'll talk about in a moment, but also activate the autonomic nervous system. So the part of the nervous system that we don't really control, it's automatic, it's autonomic, and particularly activates sympathetic nervous system, so the flight or fight response of the body. And why is this important, and why do we even want to understand this? Well, we need to understand this because pain is actually a protective thing. You may ask yourself, why do we have it in the first place? It wouldn't be better to have no pain at all. And the short answer to that is no, because again, pain is protective. And it's protective because it creates something called sensitization and hyperalgesia, which, to better understand that, we need to talk about squids. And we talk about squids because they did some really interesting experiments on squids to understand pain in the past that really highlight how important and protective it is. So in this experiment, they basically took two different squids. One was a normal squid, and another one was a squid where the nervous system related to pain was switched off, was cut out. And then to all of these squids, the normal one and the adapted one, they cut the tentacle off. And they realized that in the squid with the injury, with the tentacle cut off, but with no pain response, so with not an active pain response, this squid was much less aware of danger, wasn't protected itself, and it kept getting eaten by predators, essentially. So that was like a very simple example to show that without a pain response after an injury, we put ourselves in danger. And so what can give rise to like a pain response? Why do we get pain? And there's different domains, but essentially we can divide them into three categories. One is physical pain. So, and physical pain can be due to an injury or a traumatic event. So, you sprain a joint or a muscle or a ligament, for example, an ankle sprain, or you injure a nerve. And that physical injury to those structures will trigger a pain response. Pain can be because of degeneration, so something that has been worn down. For example, a joint that is very worn, very osteoarthritic, for example, like a bad hip or knee osteoarthritis, that can cause you a pain response. Pain can actually be caused by medical conditions, for example, rheumatological things like rheumatoid arthritis, or autoimmune conditions where your immune system itself attacks certain parts of the body, causing damage and therefore causing pain. But it's not only the physical domain that we're interested in, and a lot of pain actually is caused by biomechanical problems rather than true physical injuries or damage. And biomechanical problems can be caused by muscle imbalances. So when muscles are the chain of muscle activation and movement, it's imbalanced. So there's some weakness in certain muscles, and therefore joints and different parts of the body are used in a different or inefficient or less smooth way. It can be caused by mechanical load imbalance, particularly acute and chronic load imbalance. And that's when we do physical activities in an inconsistent way. So we have a lot of high acute loads. So when we do high intensity activities for very short periods of time, followed by periods of inactivity. That zigzag and seesaw physical activity and pattern, it's very, the body doesn't like that, and can cause loading issues and biomechanical imbalances, which can cause pain. Biomechanical imbalances could also be technique related. So if we do an activity repetitively, like kicking a football, hitting a ball with a tennis racket, with the wrong technique, in the wrong way, over and over the time, we can cause pain responses. But biomechanical imbalance can also be simple things like posture, so poor postural awareness, how we hold our body in space, whether during movement or when we're sitting, and as well as ergonomics, so how we interact with the world around us, so how we sit, how we lie down, how we use equipment. And then beyond the physical and the biomechanical, we also have to look at psychological, social aspects that could be triggers for pain. This could be our lifestyle, actually. So simple things like how much we drink, is smoking, and the nutrition, the quality of the diet that we have, sleep. All these things, if they're not optimal, they can be psychosocial factors that can trigger or predispose us to poor and persistent pain responses. Then other things are, for example, occupation, what we do in our lives. So if we do jobs that expose us to dangers, a lot of manual job, we can